Hey my lovelies, and welcome back to Bex Square Gaming. I am Scottish Bex and it's time for more Ship Graveyard Simulator 2. We are working on the Contrabando, which is the one connected to the 30 days on a ship game. Let's continue on. Oh, up we go. Very nice view. Lovely. Okay, so we've got a couple of sort of stacking areas, and they're a bit all over the place, aren't they? This is where we're starting. It's the highest point, so... Oh, the computers. All the computers. Interesting. Eh. One. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, they won't. They. Okay, they weigh a lot. Where's the truck? I need to move that forward a bit, I think. Oh, for the love of... A few pieces that have come down. The majority seems to have stayed up. That hole in the side at the end there. Is that what that is? Is that a hole in the side? Interesting. These must weigh a ton because it wouldn't let me pick one up. 200. I'm gonna have to do them one at a time. Okay, hang on. Me? My goodness. 200. So can't lift that because the yellow one is on it. Okay, that's fine. Some of the pieces that went flying. So let's get up to this one. The yellow at this side, yes it is. Okay. Ooh. There's a red one that we can do after that. Some of them have tons in them, some of them don't have a lot. It's interesting. I'm trying to kind of do layers so that it's not just one section, so that I can kind of bring it down a little bit so that I don't end up with trying to get one bit out, but I can't because this bit's covered by this bit, which is covered by this bit, which is covered by... You know what I mean? That kind of scenario, which we know does happen in these kind of things. So, other side. Them, they're kind of at a decent level, so let's head up to these ones, shall we? Interesting, that's an oddly balanced one. Another one with all suitcases. Love it. Suitcases actually, because there's quite a few of them, weigh a lot. I mean, yeah. Little toy forklifts. They were cute. Oh, helps if I don't shut myself in it, right? Right. Actually, there's not as much back here as I thought there was. I'm starting to think there might have been more at the front. It's just the way these are stacked higher, maybe? I don't know. This thing weighs a ton. Yeah, it's cracking 200. There you go. Back to the working our way through all these. And get rid of some of the ones at this side, that way it might make it easier to throw to the truck. Okay, that one. Oh, that one. Open. Open sees me.
आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
I should know better than to throw over the crane element that's moving, because that can cause crashes. Had that happen more than once. That's gonna need to get thrown. That's gonna be heavy. Go. Always the same. I think that's good. I think we're kind of going in the right direction in terms of getting rid of some of this stuff that's blocking. I know it might seem like I'm jumping around a bit, but I kind of am doing... I'm kind of trying to bring it down a little bit on layers. What's highest, what's not, because like I said, that way things don't end up with the bit... It needs to have that moved, but that's got that on top of it, which then is that on top of it, because you've already removed a lot of them. Plus, purely from a throwing perspective, to make things easier from the throwing perspective, that's a big thing, really. So... Right, next up, let's get these ones, these sort of ones over here out, maybe. Yeah, that's out the way. Bogs. Ah, oh, so many bogs. Right, I want to do this one that's sitting at a funny angle. Right, okay, yeah, like that. So this is down here. Oh, that's good to go. It's empty. Where are the other ones are just empty randomly. Seeing any? That looks like tables and chairs from the Titan. I think that can go until that one goes. That one can't go till that one goes. This is what I'm talking about. We're trying to make sure that we've done it in a way, because otherwise there would have been stuff on top of that would have been chaotic as well. Never mind just sidewards from it.
कोई बात नहीं
Woo. I wonder how good the magnet would be with this one. Like if you just drop the magnet over all of the units and then pulls out everything that's in them, and then you just use the crane to pick all the units up one by one. I mean, that would be a much faster way of doing it. But again, I'm not wanting to use the magnet, so I'm doing this a little bit differently. We're having a look at what's in the containers. Rather than... I'm not speedrunning this, guys. That's not what the purpose of this is. I mean, if I wanted to, that'd be what I'd be using the crane for, but... that's not the idea here, so... we're kind of having a look at what is in crates. So far, nothing, like, it's everything kind of sort of... it's been neat, but it's nothing that... it's making me be like, ooh, oh, hi. Yeah, they weigh. Ah, crap. Why did I try to throw that back in the box? What? Well, so explain to me why I tried to do what I tried to do there, because I don't think I even know what I tried to do there.
हेलो क्या हाल है
That's going to be heavy as hell. Yep.
कोई बात नहीं
It's moving. It's moving. It's not moving at 1,000 miles an hour, but it's moving. Keeping the crane busy for sure. At least they didn't break in breakdowns. Like, they didn't build in that your crane breaks down and it'll be out of action for X number of minutes and things like that, you know. At least they didn't build anything like that in, because that would drive you absolutely crazy. So that if you use it, you know, like, it almost like it can overheat if you use it too quickly too many times and stuff like that. Maybe we shouldn't give them ideas. Not an aspect of that kind of thing. I'm gonna go for that green one in the corner. I know the red one opens up the front, so let's get that next. Not been as many that require cutting open on this side, which is interesting. So I need to work out what the hell happens over here. Okay. Empty boxes, that's always of use. Well, true. We need packaging. Everybody needs packaging, although they don't usually look like that when they're still ready to be packaged, but that's not the point.
आपके पास कोई जहाज है
seen that layout of stuff a few times now, so that seems to be one that they had on repeat. I wonder if they filled them and had just like units that like that they just put in and repeat some places. Yeah, that one's a similar one as well. Definitely seen that one. So any more front facing here? No, just these two. Which are empty. Nope, the bottom one's not. Okay.
Hello, क्या हाल है?
A lot of jumping around.
कोई बात नहीं. Hello, क्या हाल है?
That one can go.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
I'm sure there was another one over here. That one.
मैं जल्दी वहाँ आऊँगा.
Well, that's next on the list.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे.
Be that one. Yep. Out my way. That's fine.
Hello, क्या हाल है? क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है? मैं जल्दी वहाँ
Quite a lot of these floors here look broken underneath this big selection of containers. That's interesting. That's going to make that interesting once we get them away then.
कोई बात नहीं. Hello, क्या हाल है? क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
Yeah, that one's gone. This orange one. Ammunition boxes.
मैं जल्दी वहाँ आऊँगा.
Some of this up. I'll also head over here and grab some of these boxes that have come down. Hello? Let me in. Oh, that was all that was in that. Okay, and that. So these ones can all go.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे. कोई बात नहीं.
We're going in roughly the right direction still. I mean, it's taken me another 20 minutes to get to this point, but I mean, 20 minutes is not bad given how many of the containers we've taken down, to be honest. I'm kind of pleased with that. I think that's been pretty efficient. I mean, out with using the magnet, pull everything out from inside of them. I think that's been pretty damn efficient, to be honest.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
Not sent that one to go yet, no.
मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा.
That would explain a lot. I haven't set that one to go either.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे. कोई बात नहीं. हेलो, क्या हाल है? क्या आपके पास
Not
कोई
bad,
जहाज
not
है?
bad. Even all the dolls behind. We took the box but left the dolls.
हेलो, क्या हाल है?
Yeah. I just keep going. I'm just going to keep going forward. That's all I can do. Keep chewing.
मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा.
Let's get up here. I don't think there's any. There's only like it's only level 2 and down now. Okay, any super tall ones left.
कोई बात नहीं.
All I can do is just keep working through it. Definitely getting there though.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे.
I like it. It's kind of like doing a jigsaw puzzle in reverse. Like, I've got to take the right bits apart first. Which I know you're going, oh, but that's kind of the whole point of a demolition game. And I get that, but this is very different. This is like trying to make sure that you've got to take certain things in a certain order.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
Which I kind of like. That's kind of my thing. I think that's why I liked hard space a little bit, because you kind of had to do things like if you took the power out the hard space, then you couldn't change the ship, so you had to do the doors before you took it. You know, there was, yeah, there was a bit sort of puzzle to it.
हेलो, क्या हाल है?
Oh, crap.
मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा. कोई बात नहीं.
Plugs me into here. Oh. Oh, it's a ship. It's the container behind. I was like, why has it got double-ended doors? So I was like, that didn't make sense to me.
मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा। हेलो, क्या हाल है?
When you do things like that and then your brain kind of takes a second, you're just like, what? Go and get that grey one up there as well. Is there a collectible on this one? I didn't see an achievement for a collectible on this one. I just saw an achievement for doing the contracts. So I don't know.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे। क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
Oh, those are the things from those were the things from the Titan. I remember those. They were really nice.
कोई बात नहीं।
This is... But we are going. We are going. I know I keep saying that, but that's the only thing I can think to say, because yeah. There's just a lot here. My brain is kind of in puzzle mode. It's definitely trying to sort the puzzle.
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे।
Ladders. Fisting.
कोई बात नहीं।
Up here next, I think. Keys and boxes. Did wonder if I was gonna hit the doors.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है? मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा।
Well, that one says it can go. Oh no, no, it can't. It can't. That was weird. It looked like it could, and then it couldn't.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है? हम संपर्क में रहेंगे।
Ladder collection. I mean, you think about what would be on a container ship. There would be all sorts on a container ship. So, I mean, it's not like you can't look at it and go, this doesn't make sense, because no, I mean, there would be all sorts on a container ship. So, you know. The other one. I need to let that go first so I can find it.
हेलो, क्या हाल है? पास कोई जहाज है?
Can also go.
हम
That's fine.
संपर्क में रहेंगे.
It's a bit parkouring on this one as well, jumping around trying to get to all the containers.
हेलो, क्या हाल है?
Okay. That's nice and random.
कोई बात नहीं.
Obviously a reference to something in the game.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है? मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा. क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
It's interesting how some are stacked behind others, so you have to do certain ones to get into other ones. I do quite like that. I quite like that's interesting for sure. Now, is that the same in the game, or is that part of just the way they've done it for this one to make it more difficult? Because is it a case of when you're playing the game, you can't get into some of them
हम संपर्क में रहेंगे.
until you get the ability to cut through the walls or something like that? Cut through the container walls? I don't know. Anyone knows? Feel free to share for those of us who haven't played it, and you know, you never know, it might inspire one of us to play it.
क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है? हेलो, क्या हाल है? मैं जल्द ही वहां आऊंगा.
So close to having all the containers done. Well, the containers on this level.
हम
Done.
संपर्क में रहेंगे. क्या आपके पास कोई जहाज है?
Washing machines. I'm presuming in the game, the appliances and stuff you will dismantle for parts.
हेलो, क्या हाल है?
Oh, I got shoved to the side there. Yep.
कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah, let's have a look at, I can't really get into that yet. This makes me feel like I'm playing, you know, that arrow puzzle game where you've got to release certain arrows in certain because they point certain directions first. Oh, that's what this feels a little like. Not in a bad way, but it's just what it feels a little like. It's what it's reminding me of. I'm actually really liking this one. It's really different, and it's very quirky, and I think I'm really liking that. Now, I might have a very different opinion once I get underneath, but that's where I am at the moment. I'm liking it because it's quirky. The only thing that did bug me a little bit was the physics at the top. I haven't had any of them since that top bit, so fingers crossed it was just something about the top.
कोई बात नहीं.
Quite a long vessel though. Yeah, last container. Search. Well, it's on the... not last container, but last container on the top deck to search.
क्या आपके पास
Still
कोई
got
जहाज है?
to find a load of cardboard boxes, a load of cloth, a load of plastic. And a crap ton of oil. Okay, so we have all of that off. So now let's just have a look at what's in here. And I can't see what's in here, which is interesting. Is there any kind of... here? Ooh, that's got those twisty stairs. And so I don't think there's anything up there that's a concern. I think that all just looks like tubes and tunnels, and so I think we're good to kind of just drop this section. Let's do that. Wasn't expecting that to pop there, but that's okay. It's being done. Just this corner, and I should be doing the rest. So. We are at 3 hours and 20. I'm okay with that. I mean, we brought down all those containers really quickly. I can't go over how fast we cleared those containers off, to be honest. So, again, depending on what's underneath, this might actually not be as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it doesn't look like there's that many walls, but maybe. I think probably one of the first things we're going to need to do is to separate the walls, the floor side, and go forward. I think that's going to be a given. So I think that is, yeah, let's start that. That's next on the list, to separate the sides. Let's go. Right. So all the sides released except for that right bit right at the top, because I need to obviously go through and sort that. That's the next thing on the list. I am going to take a short break, guys. As always for you guys, I will jump back in straight away, so it should be a big difference for you. But my butt is numb. I've been doing this for 3.5 hours. I'm a little bit tired. It's getting late. It's coming up midnight where I am. So, well, actually it's 11, not midnight. Sorry. But still late, and I want to go chill out for my evening. I want to go get a bath and relax a little bit since I have the house to myself. So, I'm going to jump off here. I will go pick up those boxes that are out there. I see you, princess. I know. You need a W as well. I know. She's like, Mama, we need to do our evenings. So she's needing out as well after this length of time. So, yes. Apparently I'm not allowed off the ship. Apparently this has been the decision. There you go. So, yeah, I think the best thing to do for me is, because it's like I said to you guys before, I was going to start separating out taking breaks, because I've done some of them whole, like some of the 8-hour ships I did in one sitting, and I'm not going to lie, by the time I got to the end I was half dead. So I kind of lose momentum in how much I talk and things like that, and and the enthusiasm as well for myself. So I will jump back in very shortly. Probably it'll be a day or so for me on the recording front, but for you guys, you shouldn't see much of a difference. So we'll pick up in the next bit. All right, my lovelies, we are back. Small disclosure before we go any further. I am running on about 2.5 hours of sleep because I had a particularly bad bout of insomnia last night. So, yeah. If I seem a bit off or waffly for the rest of this, or just the opposite, completely, you know why. My brain is probably not going to be functioning today. But this needs done, and on top of that, I kind of was enjoying this the other day, so I kind of do want to do some more. It's amazing how your brain does that. You're like, I'm tired and I'm sleepy, but I want to go dismantle ships. Who knows? So, sweetheart, you need to get off my lap. So let's start taking some of this apart. So we were going to work on this side, right? So let's see what we got. Stairs up. Right, pick up the crap in the hallway first, right? Let's do this side first. So what's in here? Right, so it curves back round. We have toilets, lockers, and showers. That's shower room. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see if we got rooms, that makes sense for the bedrooms to be near the shower rooms. To be fair, that does make logical sense. I'm going to actually go out this back hallway and get through here, because this might actually be just toss that there. There you go. That's what I wanted. It's just easier than trying to run back through that maze. Okay. Ooh, I like how that's like a little indent with it. That was nice. I like that. I like that a lot. It is about that. It is about thinking about the spaces and... Now that's interesting. Why does that duke it back? Oh, okay. Let's have a look. You can see that sort of weird graphical glitch we've got going on down there. Right, okay, that's why. That's why. That makes sense. Okay, nope, that makes sense. I wanted to understand why it did that. That didn't make any sense to me. So that's kind of like an important thing to kind of work out. But that's important. Paying attention to the spatial use is very important. Okay. It's that side. To this side. Oh, another set. Okay. I mean, in modern day world, that could be that one half is for the males, the other for the females, but yes, I'm aware there's more than that, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about basics. Go through the wall. That's... Alright. So we've sort of accounted for the front sections, not quite the back sections yet. Which I'm assuming the door that was at the far end would go to. We'll go in here. Storage hold. Okay. That's probably quite a cool room. I'm not sure I'd want such a cold room next to my my bedroom, but okay. That's because I'm someone who lives in the world of perpetual cold. Oh, nice big open cargo space. Love it. Right, so let's clear this out, and then what we can do is work on bringing down walls and stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I am very, very tired, and my brain is not quite functioning, so my apologies if I keep getting lost finding my words today. I mean, the argument could be, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be recording today and all that, but the thing is life, reality of life doesn't stop turning because you stop sleeping. And if I didn't do things, work or record or do anything simply because I didn't sleep, I'd probably never get anything done. I've always been a particularly bad sleeper. It's just one of those things. I'm kind of used to it. Used to it's the wrong term because I'm still tired from it, but as in, I don't... Yeah, I get up and I get on with things. It you know, it doesn't matter. Life happens. The world does not just stop turning because you're a bit tired. So, don't get me wrong, it is still the weekend. So I will, I mean, I could have slept in, and I did sleep in a little bit, because, I mean, it was probably closer to 6 a.m. by the time I fell asleep, and that's after having gone to bed at midnight. So, yeah. That's not the worst. The worst one I've had is no sleep at all. So literally nothing. So, I mean, I did sleep in a little bit to try compensate, hence why I've managed to get about 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours sleep. But I'm still pretty tired. So I think it's about 3 I've had. So I am... Yeah, I'm pretty tired. But the thing is that if I then sleep, if I was to go back to bed and try and get 6 or 7 hours from that point on, I'm then going to be sleeping well into the afternoon. And at that point, it's then going to screw with my sleep pattern for the night. And I've got work the next day. So it's like, well, if I then don't... you know what I mean? So it's, to me, it's better to get up and be a bit tired. Maybe have a short nap in the afternoon to give me an energy recharge to keep going. And I do mean a short nap. Is better than trying to get a full sleep cycle after 6 a.m. And because otherwise I'm going to screw my sleep for tonight. And it's better to not do that. I don't know. Part of it is that I am naturally a night owl. And obviously, because, you know, work a standard, I suppose it's the equivalent of a standard 9 to 5 type of job, you know, work office job. You don't have the luxury of obeying your body clock. I mean, to be honest, I am, as is my mum and my gran was, a night owl. I would quite happily, you know, roll back to being awake till goodness knows when. But the issue is just can't do that in the real world. Nice as it sounds, you can't. And not only that, when you've been doing, you know, when you've been in the work world for a decent length of time, you kind of, there's a level of, even on your days off and you think, oh, I don't have to do that, your brain still has kind of almost like a built-in function that doesn't feel normal, so you kind of feel guilty, or, you know, even though it's fine if you're not, you know, but, you know, I think I do tend to see, I've said this many times, I've had this conversation with the doctors before, that my best sleep is usually between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. But obviously in the real world, when you're working, you know, you've got to be at work for 8 in the morning, or, you know, 9 in the morning, depending on your job. Obviously, for some people it's earlier if you're working construction and stuff, but you know what I mean, a standard sort of office job kind of thing. And that's what gets me. So it doesn't matter that my best sleep might be between 6 and 10. It's not when I get to sleep, that's when you're getting up. So yeah, so that's probably why I am still functioning, because obviously I fell asleep after 6 and then I got up about 9. So Yeah, and because those are my good peak hours for sleeping, that I tend to find I get my best sleep. Don't know why. Everyone's different. It's just where my natural rhythm is. Yeah. I will go for a nap, sort of, probably about 2, maybe 3, 4. Try and keep it under an hour. I can't go any later than 4, because if I go later than 4, then again, you start screwing up your sleep cycle for the evening. But we'll see. It's not that unusual for me. I do tend to do all the tricks, but I've yet to find something that really works. I tend to find the best thing to do is get back up. I did not do that last night, and I think that's part of my problem. I found sometimes, like, when I'm really struggling, don't lie there, because then you just get more and more frustrated. I tend to find, give it an hour, maybe 2. If you can't do it, get back up. And then I tend to find going downstairs, doing something that keeps my hands busy but allows my brain to either slip into a rhythm or shut down. So I find, like, jigsaws, I know that for people they'll be like, oh, but that's using your brain. No, it depends on the jigsaw. Or what I like to do is just have, like, the monochrome colouring books. So you're not trying to pick colours, you're not trying to think about it. Your brain is just looking for the dots and then colouring it in. I tend to find they're pretty good for kind of shutting your brain down. You do that for however long till you start to feel really sleepy again. And then you go back upstairs. And usually they'll fall asleep. The other thing I like doing is when you do that and you're just on the edge of sleep, rather than risk waking yourself up or waking myself up, I sometimes so instead of going back upstairs, I will literally roll back onto the couch and I will fall asleep on the couch. Now, people go, oh, but your sleep on the couch is nowhere near as good as sleep on your bed. And you're absolutely right, it's not. But 6 hours sleep on a couch is better than 2 hours sleep in a bed. Like, it's just going to be a thing. So, depends on the size of your couch, to be fair. But I'm a little short arse. I'm only 5 foot, so I can stretch out on most 3-seater couches without any problem. And usually some 2-seaters as well. Because I'm a little shorty. So it's not a problem for me. But I tend to find that actually usually tends to work best for me. I don't know why I didn't do it last night. I just ended up getting annoyed with myself last night, and I can always tell when it gets really bad, because then I do that, you know, almost like that dramatic thing you see in the movie where they thrash their arms and legs and get really, really annoyed. I get like that when I get really, really frustrated because I can't sleep. And then, yeah, and I got to that stage last night. When I get to that stage, all level of thinking goes out the window, and I'm just too pissed off to really think clearly because I'm so tired and I'm so angry. Yeah, it's not good, not wise. I don't recommend. The funny thing is I recognise it. I know exactly what it is. I do it, and I know I do it, and then I recognise that I was doing it, but I haven't done anything to resolve it. So that's on me. That is 100% on me. I should have just got my ass out of bed last night and gone, I'm not sleeping, let's move on. But I didn't. And that is on me. So that's why I say, like, I kind of just accept. Ooh. I know better. I 100% know better. And I ignored that. So. Don't know why I did. Just did. I think I was overtired when I went to bed, which means my brain has already stopped functioning, and that is all. The only reason I could think that I would have been not thinking it through, but even that, you know. What's your go-to when you've got a bout of can't sleep? I've heard some people say things like hot milk and stuff like that. I've tried those. They don't work for me. But I'd be curious to know what does work. Because everybody's different. So what doesn't work for me might work great for you. I don't think there's... I get annoyed when you see that, when people are like, oh, these hacks don't work, or these gimmicks. I hate when they call things hacks. These gimmicks don't work. And I'm like, well, not for you. But it's like certain diets. Like, I've dieted on and off over the years, and I found that certain ones worked for me and certain ones didn't. Now, the ones that worked for me didn't necessarily work for other people, and the ones that work for... Everybody's unique. And your brain chemistry is unique. So what works for you... because you either do it correctly, or it for some reason it resonates with you, it's not necessarily something that's going to work for somebody else. But it's still good to know. It'd be interesting to know what did work for you. I used to be able to do the thing, when you just lie down and you tell your body to shut down. So you say, you say feet go to, work your way up, feet go to sleep, feet go to sleep, feet go to sleep. Legs go to sleep, legs go to sleep, legs go to sleep, and you it's almost like your body then doesn't kind of want to move. It kind of locks itself down. That used to work for me really, really well, but that's kind of stopped working for me over the years. I know that they say there's a trick that soldiers do, that they can literally just lie down, because obviously they get sleep as and when they can, especially if they're in a military situation. It's the training. You get your sleep and your grub as and when you can. Never underestimate the 5 minutes nap for the ability to keep you going for the rest of the day. But I've never been able to work that one out. I've heard people say it's similar to the telling your body to go to sleep thing, but whether that is or not, that'd be interesting if anybody has a military background that knows what that trick is. Then when I actually get a full night's sleep, I don't usually know what to do with myself. It's like a full 8 hours, and then it's not. And then on top of that, it's a full 8 hours of proper sleep, because just because you get 8 hours doesn't mean you actually get quality sleep. Love it when people go, oh, you slept? And you're like, no. Again, it's not really about quantity, is it? It's quality. 3 hours of quality sleep is probably better than 6 hours of, Probably. Anyone who knows about these things can correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of where my knowledge comes from is either something I've read or personal experience from trial and error. Doesn't mean I'm right, guys, and I have said this a million times. Do not ever assume anything I say is 100% right. Go check, go look, go try, go find out. I'm not somebody who stands here and says I know everything, because I absolutely don't. I'm not an expert in pretty much any field other than the one that I work in. And even then, there's always something to learn, I actually quite like learning. I've always been someone that I really like learning. The more my brain has to do, the happier I am. Like, that's one of the things I've really loved about the YouTube channel. As I have had to start learning to use new softwares, and I have had to, and yeah, I've still got a long way to go, not even close, but I'm still so much an amateur at so many things in that levels. But it's like, it's so fascinating. I love learning. I loved university, not because I knew it was going to get me my career, but because of the learning aspect. I've always loved learning, and at the moment, like I say, I'm working my way through. I've been devoting myself to language studies, particularly Japanese. So, yeah, I've always got something. I've always need to be learning. I would love to go back to university and do, for my own personal benefit, not for a career. I'd love to go do an English literature degree, probably a sociology, a philosophy, and a psychology degree. And again, not really. I don't really care if it's a degree, just some kind of learning course. Like, a degree could be good because, there's an actual proper qualification and stuff. But, yeah. I think I wouldn't want to do them for any career purposes, purely for I think they're very interesting topics and I would love to do it. I probably would quite like to do history as well. There's so many things I would love to know more of. And yeah, I do a bit of self-study, but I would love to go and do proper learning on them. Like I say, not for the qualification, because I would never actually use the qualification, but for the knowledge that potentially it's better than some random self-study thing. The English Lit would be top of that, probably followed by philosophy. I would love to do something like digital art and things like that, but I'm not really artistic. She says as she's on here doing stuff. But this is different. This is, as much as it is, it's content creation. It's not content creation the way I'm playing some games, and yes, I'm doing video editing and things like that, but it's not the same as a full, you know, as like proper, what I would consider full-blown, you know, like the animation that my cousin does. Now that to me is full-blown art. Now there's different versions of what you consider art, and I'm not saying content creation isn't, but to me, the type of content I do is not the same as artistically as full-blown digital artwork. But it's like things like that. I would love to be able to do that. I mean, I do a lot of like sort of arty things, but they're hobby arty things, and you'll notice that's what I mean by that, like paint by numbers, diamond painting, coloring books. You know, I do a lot of that. I'm not really creating the art. I'm just the only creation I do artistically is I actually do make novelty cakes. So my mum taught me to bake, as did my gran, from a very young age, and I can do novelty cakes. So for example, my younger brother, so I'm Diane, for one of his big birthdays, I'm not going to say which one because that tell you that I'm old as well, he wanted a dragon. He's really into dragons, so he wanted a dragon, and I made a 18-inch across, because it was a big 18-inch board, dragon lying down on a pile of gold, with its wings wrapped around itself, asleep. And that was one of the best cakes I've ever made. That was so much fun. Inside the cake was multicolored labeled marbled rainbow cake inside. So rather than it being layered, it's just all put in, and you know, you put it in the dollops and then you marble it through rather than layering it. Then obviously shaped into different sections, and then I hand carved scales out of molding icing. But in every scale I did individually. I didn't put it on and then mark scales. I actually hand carved hundreds of scales to layer across the dragon, and then and then obviously made his wings that folded down onto him. And then what we did for the gold was we actually ordered the gold, and it was, you know, chocolate coins, you know, gold wrapped chocolate coins. So other than the actual foil on the chocolate coins, cake, everything on the cake board was edible, from the cake to the actual chocolate inside the coins. And then we ordered, we got jelly. I was too lazy to make them. Jelly gems. So like you know, like diamonds and emeralds and sapphires and rubies, all edible, made out of like a jelly thing that you just mixed in among the golds. So literally he was sitting on a hoard of golds on this massive board. It was an amazing cake. Now, I am not by any means an amazing baker. I am very much an amateur at that as well. Okay, so we're not even gonna be like, you know, if I can find a picture of that cake, I'll put it up. And you'll see what I mean. Like those bakers out there, you see bakers out there who do it for a living, and they do it professionally for a living, and they would have done a way better job than anything I could have done. But I love that. That's something that, from a creative point of view, I enjoy doing. And obviously, I don't do it for a living. I don't do it. I don't make money. I do it for friends and family. Friends and family want a novelty cake. I did a really great one that I loved for one of my cousins' little ones. I think it was his first birthday. It was like a jungle-themed tiered cake, which had like, not jungled, but you know, like, you know what I mean by animal kiddie ones. So there was like a lion and a giraffe. I think there was a panda and an elephant that sat around it with like palm leaves. So when I say jungle, I don't mean jungle because not all of them are in the same place, for goodness sake. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say kiddie animal things. You know exactly what I mean by that. So yeah, and I did one of them, and that was another one of my favorite ones because I had to work on how to get the leaves to sit on top of the trees without coming down. So obviously you had to build it, you had to make them all in advance, let them all set, then build them, put them together, and yeah, I mean it was good fun. I mean I like it. I enjoy doing it. I find it fun. It's the one bit of artistic stuff that I do enjoy doing. It takes hours. Like the cake for my brother. Obviously making the cake itself is simple. It's the actual shaping it, molding it, then layering it, that's the hard part. So the cake itself doesn't take that long. You just have to, once you make your cake batter, split it up into various bowls so you can mix some icing through it so you get the multiple colours. But the hard part was obviously icing that bad boy. It took me, was it something like 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours to fully do that cake? And that doesn't include time that sitting down, like the time like sitting down and resting and stuff. I think in total it took me something close to 8 hours by the time I'd done it. Why can I not pop that? There we go. That was probably my favorite cake to do though, was the dragon cake. Followed probably by the baby cake. I've done like some weird and wonderful ones. I did a Thomas the Tank Engine cake, but they wanted it in pink and purple, not in Thomas the Tank Engine colours. I remember doing that. That was fun. I quite like stuffed cakes. Like they're not usually got any funky designs on them. They're just like you cut out holes in the centre of the cakes, depending on how many bits you want stuffed, and then you fill them with stuff and then put the top of the cake back over it. Yeah, I've done a couple of stuffed cakes before, but they're not really, to me, they're not really, they don't require designing, they're just cutting a hole and shoving stuff in. I've had some fun cakes over the years. The Mickey Mouse one was great, but I had a mould for the Mickey Mouse one. It just baked it in its shape. I then just had to follow the pattern to ice it. That's an easier way of doing it, is if you get an exact mould and then just work out how you want to ice the colours. Although the Mickey Mouse one turned out amazing in terms of colours. I managed to get the black. I had to actually order colourants in from America for that, because over here they've got really strict rules on, this is another reason you can't sell, they've got really strict rules on colourants and what can go in cakes if you're actually selling to the public. If you're just making one yourself, that's your own personal choice. And you don't get a very good black. It's pretty much just grey, deep grey over here. So yeah, I had to get a super strong black colouring from the States and to get the colouring right for that one. That was good fun. That was great. It's the first time I'd ever got true black on a cake. It was fantastic. I love that. I do love a good novelty cake. It's quite funny though, because people will come to you and go, I want a cake. That's nice. You know, they're like, and they're like, okay, so what do you want in that cake? And they were like, okay, do you want a flavoured cake? Do you want a stacked cake? Do you want a stuffed cake? Do you want it just one cake? Do you want a tiered cake? What are you doing? And they'll be like, yeah, like a chocolate cake, maybe. Just one tier? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, do you want a filling in the cake? Like, do you want it cut in half with like jam and buttercream in the middle? Or do you want it just plain? Oh, yeah, that might be nice. What, just plain? Or, you know, I'm not just talking about my family, I just mean in general. And you'll say it's the funniest thing ever when people come, you know, and then you'll be like, it's like when you go to the hairdressers. Take a picture with you, people, of something you've seen that you like the idea of. You're not going to get exactly that, but you're gonna get an attempt at it. What amazed me, actually, when I did my brother's dragon cake was I looked around for inspiration. I actually found a couple of different cakes I liked, but I didn't like all of the bits, so I kind of took some ideas from the different cakes and sort of combined them to create the cake that I wanted. And and what got me, though, was the amount of dragon cakes that didn't have any gold hoard around them. Now, I don't know about you, but from my stories growing up, dragons always had their hoard of gold. I could not get over the amount, and it's such an easy fix. You don't even have to make the damn stuff. Just buy it. Like I said, just buy chocolate coins and go with the flow. Like, it amazed me the amount of cakes that there was out there that didn't have any of that. Oh, now, yes, they're not always the cheapest stuff to buy, but still, I was like, the amount, I think I only saw one other cake that, at the time, that had it. Now, that might now be a thing that they're doing, because again, this was a while back. This was like 10 years ago. But still, I was like, I was surprised by how many dragon cakes did not have the gold hoard. That blew my mind. I was like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when you're thinking of a dragon lying down. It's different if you're talking about a dragon perched up, roaring on top of a mountaintop. That is a different thing. But the amount of times it was dragons lying down sleeping, because it's the easiest position to do a dragon in, which is what I did, because, like I said, not amazing person. I was like, yeah. One thing I don't have that I've always wanted to get is like one of the airbrushes for caking, for decorating cakes, to do more defined colorings, so it doesn't all look quite so cartoonish. You can actually add depth in there, color and shadow, but I haven't invested in one of them because they're quite expensive. I did the unicorn cakes that were going around for a while. My niece had one of them. You know which one I'm talking about. It's like the head, the round cakes, the head, you put some eyes on it. But I didn't buy the pieces for that. I actually made my own unicorn ears and horn to stick on the top. So the whole thing was edible. It wasn't a case of, a lot of these times you buy them, and you can get the wafer ones that you can pull off and eat, but a lot of the time when you get these ones, they're like a piece of plastic that you shove on top. I don't like doing that, so I like to hand make. Now you end up using a load of moulding icing when you do it, but yeah. I think the dragon cake was my favourite. Still is. I think I enjoyed making my cousin's baby cake, though, because it was more intricate. Well, I know the dragon took more time and it was more impressive overall. When I made my cousin's sort of baby animal cake, I had to, the night before, a couple of days before, start building all the pieces, because it was all going to have to get put together. So, like, I had to make the animals separate, I had to make, and put them together. I had to make the trees and put them together. I had to, it wasn't just a case of icing on, whereas the dragon was mostly just wings, a horn, and the majority of it was just its scales, to be honest. I think if I did something like that again, I'd be tempted to make the golden hoard, because you can actually get, obviously, edible gold stuff, and what you would just get yourself is a little press to make it, and then you could either melt chocolate and do it that way, or you could, again, just make them out of something make it a more edible moulding icing. So, I mean, moulding icing is edible, but it doesn't taste much, but you can maybe flavour it, give it a stronger flavour. This takes you longer to do it, and I just didn't have as much time, so hence why and to be honest, as much as I do it, it's not, I don't make a living out of it. It's not that kind of thing. I do it because I enjoy doing it. So there's a difference in the line between a hobby that your family get to benefit from and something you would do if you were doing it professionally. Very different. I have a lot of respect for people who can do it as a profession, actually, because the amount of time it takes every single day standing there, plus you've always got a slight bend in your back, even when you get the right stuff for icing. You're at slightly the wrong angle. Your back is always sore by the end of it. The amount of work it requires, and then the lack of appreciation for, like, I worked out, like, the materials for that cake alone, because it was not a small cake, plus all of the gold was something like 60 quid, and that was just for making the cake. That doesn't include, like, cost of electricity and my time for actually, you know, doing the cake, which would have been like 10 hours worth of work, you know. And so you're talking base cost alone is 60 quid just to make it, that, you know. And then by the time you know, so if you're only charging 100 quid for that cake, that's £40 an hour. That's £4 an hour. You know, if you're taking that 40 quid and dividing it by your time, 10 hours, that's only £4 an hour. I mean, that's pennies for all that hard work, and it would take you a day to do it. It's going to take you a whole day to do that. You're going to, what, £40 for a whole day's work? You know what I mean? That's not actually a lot of money. And then people are going to be like, £100 is too much. I mean, for an 18-inch cake, it would cost you a lot more than £100. You would probably actually cost you, you know, these days. Back then, it probably would have been about 150, but with inflation and stuff now, it would probably be in the 200s, maybe even more. Somebody who does it for a living could say that's maybe a £300 cake or whatever. But here's the thing: people look at that and they balk and they go, I'm not paying that for a cake. And you're like, well, one, it's handmade, and two, like, it's taken somebody, you know, 10 hours to do it. Now, again, I'm not talking about my quality of work, because I'm an amateur, and one, I don't charge people. I do it as a hobby, and two, I'm talking about professionals who do it, who have very, you know, in the same amount of time can do a much better job than I could do. That's the quality we're talking about. So we're looking at the ones I've done and gone, I wouldn't pay money for that amount of money for that. I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about the big professionals, and they can do some incredible things. And you're like, but I don't think there's always an appreciation about the cost to make these things. It's like the unicorn cakes that go for, like, yeah, you can get them in Morrison's and stuff. People will go, I can get one in Morrison's or Tesco's for 30 quid or 20 quid. And you're like, well, go get it from Morrison's or Tesco then. Go. Instead of paying 60 quid. Now you're like, that's fine. But what you're getting from Morrison's and Tesco's and stuff is a machine processed cake off a production line that has, I don't know how many chemicals in it to maintain it. You know, it's got a lot of different stuff in it, versus someone who's made it from scratch, who can tell you what every single ingredient in that cake is, and who's made it specifically to your request. So instead of making it a vanilla cake, they have made it chocolate with a M&M stuffed center with a layer of butter icing before the molding, and you know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's the difference, is it's custom made and it's made by hand. And not only that, you can then custom it, like, oh, I like it, I like the unicorn, but I kind of want it to have open eyes, or it'd be really nice if its hair was a slightly different color. I'd kind of want it in this, but I want it with blue swirls instead of part. You know what I mean? You're gonna struggle if you go to some of these other shops and ask. But hey, yeah, that's what you're paying the money for. You're paying the money for the better quality and the time taken and the customization. And the option to have the customization. And the skill, the hard skill of these people. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend that I have skill anywhere near that. I don't. And this always gets me, like, it's never bothered me when I'm looking at cakes in a bakery and they'll be like, oh, that's, you know, yeah, we can do that for you, but it's 80 quid. And I'm like, that's fine. But that's because I've done cakes and I understand the reality of cost and the skill involved. You know, I mean, I know how hard it is for me, and I don't have the skill anywhere near what they do. And you just think, yeah, but a lot of people don't get how much it actually costs to make them. like I say, you're not even talking. Did I not knock down? I thought I knocked down the edges. Oh, I did. I brought it down and cleaned it up. I'm like, did I not knock down the edges? Yes, I have. I've just, yeah. Sorry, I'm really tired, guys, and I'm forgetting the stuff that I've just cleaned up was the level above, which I knocked off. And now trying to bring down the sides in this level. Yeah. But it's like anything. If you think about whatever you do for a living in your profession, I don't think anyone who works in any career would turn around and go, well, you know, in my career profession, if you're a specialist, it's really not that impressive. You know, it's not, you know, you're not due to be paid a lot of money. Then why, you know, like nobody's going to say that about their profession, but nobody's willing to admit that about anybody else's profession, which I find bizarre. Like you would not, nobody would be like, you know, so you're a computer programmer, say, it'd be like, oh, you know, it takes X number of hours to write a script and get it right and do the testing and do, you know, and then people would be like, well, I don't want to pay that. Well, I don't understand why developers get paid so much money. Developers get paid so much money because it's a skill, because if you don't do it right, it's wrong. My point is, if you're very good at what you do, there's a reason you get paid a lot of money. Now, we're not talking about the ridiculous money that actors and footballers get. That's different. That is crazy. That is, if you compare that to other, what's the word I'm looking for? Careers. Yeah, no. They get paid stupid money, and I don't agree with the amount of money they all get paid. But my point is in general, you're very good at what you do. You know, there's a reason you get paid, you know, what you get paid. And why should anything like baking or anything be any different? It might not be, you know, it's a very physical on career, but it's, you know, it's a weird thing that we do. We all think that our careers or the jobs that we do are worth value, but then degrade, like, it's like a cleaner. Cleaner's a prime example. The amount of people that would be like, I mean, they're just cleaning a toilet. Yes and no, right? Okay, if you clean that toilet right, to get in all the bits, to make sure you're getting around the bend, to include, you know, like, a cleaner, a properly trained cleaner, is going to do a way better job than you do when you clean your bathroom. I can assure you of that much, right? That's always, to me, the tell of a good cleaner is always how well the toilet's been cleaned. Like, how much scale there's left around the, you know, like when you get right down into the pipe and you can see, you know, on the edges how, whether it's been properly, whether they've actually put their damn hand down that toilet and properly cleaned it. And that's my point. Like, it's, people would be like, oh, it's just cleaning. It's not, no, yeah, I don't want to do it. Do you want to do it? And if they're really good at their job, they can clean way, I'm not going to lie, properly trained cleaner is going to do a way better job than I will ever do. Like, I, don't necessarily have the knowledge, because it's not, again, people go, it's just cleaning, it's not knowledge. Oh, but it is, right? When's the last time you got an extreme stain in your carpet and you knew exactly how to get it out? When's the last time you had some kind of grease stain that you knew exactly how to get out? It is a profession. It is knowing exactly. You know, it's a hairdresser is another prime example. People will be like, you know, hairdressers, it's ridiculous. You know, and you're like, really? Because you know how to perfectly cut hair? Or you just get scissors and no, you bloody don't. Like, I mean, not only that, you know, the art to the cutting the hair, you know, they only move one finger on the scissors. They don't move it two, and all these other stuff. You know, there's a whole load of different stuff, right? It's a massive lack of appreciation across the board for any career other than your own, with the exception of a few. I think there's a few that everyone would always agree. Like, people are always like, they don't get paid enough. Teachers, firemen, you know, police officers, anybody who does a job that either risks their life or or essentially like teachers who train the future children, right? Those are the few places where everybody will go, yeah, that job should be paid better. You know, there's a few exceptions to that rule. But the majority of it is any other job, like your bin men. Like, people will be like, I don't see why they get paid so highly. Because it's a very physically grueling job. Dragging those bins around every day. I mean, I don't know about you, I struggle to put my damn wheelie bin out every time because it's so bloody heavy. And they've got to drag that. Now, they don't lift it into the thing, but they have to drag them around continuously all day. Not to mention what's potentially in them or on the bins that could get onto them. Chemicals, toxins. You know, there's just, I don't want to do that job. And it's like, again, people would just be, it's just bin man. And you're like, no, every job is important and every job should have its place. And I think, yeah, definitely. See, we got into this because we were talking about cakes, and I was talking about people aren't realistic about the price of cakes and how long, you know, it takes to make cakes and stuff, which moved into people's appreciation for their other careers and other people's careers. And then, yep, this is welcome to the tangent of my brain. Right, it's taken us about 50 minutes, but we have got all of that down. And we have opened up. So we're now onto these under layers. So now we need to start thinking about how we want to approach this. So let's take... Ooh, look at this. So this is kind of in sections, right? So this is one of them here. So how about we section it off and work out where the sections of this is and go from there. This is why it's not a good idea when I'm tired, guys, to record, because my brain wanders and I start waffling and I go into cakes, which got into appreciation, which got into careers, which got into yeah, that's it. I have less control when I'm super tired, which either means I become I just randomly go off on tangents variably, or I become very tired and ooh, what's this? Okay, this is another one here, right? Another breakpoint here. I don't know where I threw that to, or why I threw that to there, but I did. So I'm wondering if this is going to drop this. Should drop this chunk here. Yes, okay. Let's keep going along so you can work out with the next sort of interesting. So this is all bits, then come to here. Another one. Oh, must have missed it. Yep, there we go. It's like another ship, isn't it, within the ship? Like, if you think about above, there's now, it's like the same thing again, but different layers. Okay, so where's the across point here? Bit in the middle, right? But other than that bit in the middle, ain't it all the way down here, right? And then this won't collapse because there's a bit in the middle, but it's getting us started in the right direction. Now I need to work out where that bit in the middle is. So it's here. By 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we need to go. I missed something. Crud. Where did I miss it? What's holding it up? Something's still holding it up and it shouldn't be. It's all round now. It's all round, so I don't understand unless it's just... At this point, I don't know, guys. Interesting. Something is holding it up, but I don't know where. So it's the other side, so that side's up. Oh, there's an extra little bit here. Okay. That down, that's fine. And is that the same all the way up? Right, where are we? Is this just like a... This is just more like a room rather than a storage bay, right? Okay. I'm just going to break it into section, guys, so I can see roughly what I'm working on. Just makes life a bit easier. I get an idea of where I'm going. I break it into sections and then I can work through those sections rather than necessarily... Where the hell is the truck? So how far down does one of these pieces go? Quite far down actually, so it's not like it's an easy off. It might be a case of dropping the front and going and doing what I normally do. I'm thinking that might be the way forwards. Oh my goodness. I was hoping this was going to be an easier underneath, but I might not be agreeing with that anymore. Right. Let's get down here and have a look. Let's cut this off for a start so we can see what's down here. Okay. I don't know how close that... There it is, okay. This is kind of just a standard hold. All this cleaned up and see if we can work out how we separate the front of the ship, which is kind of going to be the important thing. Don't quite mean that, but never mind. So there's a cut point. Let's see what that does. This bit's still attached. It goes all the way around. Crap. I don't think getting the sides off of this one is going to be that easy. I think this is going to be a more complicated... This is what's going to make this harder, I think. It's going to be bringing down the sides. Okay, so let's get in here. So is this just the space? Oh, it's just the space for those two things. Okay. We did have heavy elements in there that we've already had taken out. Okay. And that brings us to here, right? Which is... Interesting. Am I going to be able to run a cut point straight down the central point here? I might be able to. One side out at a time, maybe. Maybe. Let's approach it with that, which is what we did with the last ship. We sort of cut the corridor in half and worked on one side then the other, and that worked really well for us. I'm wondering if that is still the approach to take here. Okay. Problem with that is cutting this bit in half. So, right. So we know what's in there. What's in here? Mostly liquids by the looks of it. It's in here somewhere. Where's the damn ship? There. I'm going to take some of this roof off to make it easier for myself. I just throw it up and over for the moment and deal with it once I get out. We've done that before, just as a kind of, it gets us where we need to go, and then I pick it up from once it's over there. That's a doable option. What's through here? I'm hoping it's that drop, but I don't think I'm going to be that lucky. No. Okay. Oh, that's just that corridor. There's a cut point. I think that needs to go. Should I say that needs to be cut, not go? You know what I meant, guys. Not as in it needs to go bye-bye, as in we just need to cut it. That's my point. What the hell is going on with these pieces? That works. I mean, that's that disconnected. What else is in here? I think in here we've got a lot in here to do. There's more quarters. Spacious ones this time at least. My goodness, with their own bathroom. Wow. They must be officers of some kind. So I think we're fine on that front. I need to take the bits away from the edges. I need to be able to separate the edges. If I'm going to drop it as I go, then I need to be able to separate edges. See these pillars becoming a problem. If there's a bolt connected halfway across a pillar, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, no. Oh, son of a... Oh, this is not good. I might have to get charges for this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go get charges. Don't think this is gonna be a... Yeah, see, I can't get that from this side. It has to be from this side. Right, that's a charge job. Okay, so let me run back and grab charges. I think we're gonna need to go get... I'll go get like maybe 10 or something. If this is gonna be like that, that's gonna be just how it's gonna have to be. I've never had to use charges before, but that's really buggy. I'm gonna have to this time. In here, right? Explosives, there you go. Oh, they're already 15. It's not, yeah.
फिर मिलते हैं, my friend.
It's like, you bought things that go boom. No, I'm gonna save. Okay. Just in case. Just in case. The game was like, yeah, we don't trust you with them. We're gonna save for safety. forget that I've been throwing them. That's an awful long way for that to have managed to go. Send them down here. Might as well. Right, we did 3 hours yesterday, right? Was it 3 hours yesterday? No, it was 3.5 hours yesterday. I think it was 3.5. I mean, it could have been, it might have been, there might have been breaks in there, so it might have said 3, but I think it was, according to the video, it was 3.5. I just haven't been into the video yet. It's just the recording time on the video. So, yeah. So we're at an hour 15 today. So, I'm trying to stay in line with what that means. It's not the right thing. What is it? How do you... What's the... 7, right? Okay. There you go. Oh, you better not be the same thing. And we glitched out. Great. Quite a rounded front, isn't it? Like, it's not really a point. It's kind of quite rounded. The back, it's a very sort of almost billet-like shape, isn't it? In the sense of, if you look at it with a straight back and then this sort of quite curved top, rather than rounded top, rather than the pointed one. The whole reason a lot of ships are pointed at the front is it makes them, in a sense, it pierces the water, so it pushes the water out the way, so it's less friction as the ship goes through. That was my understanding. So I would have thought a ship that had a more rounded front would have been less efficient through the water, so I don't know. Let's finish this. Now that we've gotten back to the front, we can cut back to the middle here, okay? Alright. Let's see where we are down here. Right, there's quite a lot, okay. We go along here. Okay. Well, if the bottom bit's more pointy, that would do it, because that's the bit that's going to hit the waves more, isn't it, I suppose? So yes. Top bit, I suppose, other than aerodynamics, could be as round as it wants, right? It's a very interesting layout in here, actually. What I'm trying to do is pull it away so that we can actually get that side down. I don't care whether I get everything out and I'm inside for the moment, I just want to get the side down.
Amsan Park mere hinge.
What I plan to do is just maybe do what I did on the fishing ship and just sort of gather them boxes. Might be easier. I know I then have to pick them back up later to throw them, but in the meantime, might move them to that side while I cut this side away. So this is the last layer. If you look, that's a bottom bit. This is where we need to, this is the layer we need to get across. Okay. So let's continue to move sort of through round the edge and disconnect. Because the other side's holding it all up, so it's not a big deal. Just in case. Oh, this is going to be another full one, isn't it? Alright, okay. Let's not mess around too much. Let's just... Well, that's the first one I've found so far that I couldn't do without the explosions. I don't think I don't think that's meant to be a thing. I don't think you should have to use the explosives. I would say what that most likely is it's just that it's a glitch and it's just badly designed. You're maybe supposed to be able to hit it, and maybe you can in DX12 or something, but I don't know. Find the cut point. Point in here. I think it was back here, wasn't it? It was here, yeah? Yeah, okay, so let's... Just in case, I shouldn't need to do this, but just in case it does affect it. Right. I was going to say it didn't move, but that's because we still got some bits attached. Okay. Didn't move, so something's still holding it. Probably this. So what I might do is go do the pull it with the winch thing and see if it tells me what's not. Let's go do that, see what it is that's sticking it. Oh look, it goes down. Down another level. Further round it goes. Okay. Well, that's a pain in the ass. Right. Yeah, look. I need to get the side off before I can do any proper sort of dismantling. I'm just kind of trying to... Really? I had to push the wee car down? Really? Look at that. Get this pulled away from the edge. Yeah, I thought Ah, look, see, yeah. So it starts about here. So I think here, but might have to take this piece as well. I love that blue. Did it not move? Okay. Maybe just in case we'll take this as well. I don't think it is, but we'll do it anyway. It was. There we go. It has moved. Let's go. Let's get out here. Once this is down, I can move the truck, and then we can start sorting what's left. And that gives us our... It's taken me an hour and a half, although some of that was dismantling. Well, actually, it's half an hour, because the top took me an hour for 50 minutes to do the top bit, didn't it? But now that that's come down... that now gives me a starting point, which is all I needed was a starting point. So that's what that's given me. It'll take me half an hour to get to a starting point, but it's allowed it. And with that, guys, we are going to leave this part here. Hopefully you are enjoying the dismantling of the Contrabando. If you are, please don't forget to give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of our content. We'll see you next time. Enjoy all.